Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to our third breakdown of this tournament. I'm already getting more done than I did the last tournament, but I found myself with a lot more free time this time around, and also with the different posting schedule I had. I feel like I gotta fill out this Saturday anyway. So, happy Saturday. It is April 22nd, and I hope you caught that lower division top 15 video earlier this week. If you didn't, that's okay, because I know you guys are looking forward to the top division, top 10 that is going to be coming next Wednesday, as well as we have some, Basho is already almost here. It's already almost next month. We got, 2 more weeks until May, and then from there, we're almost there, guys. We're almost at the tournament already. And I really do like how time flies when we do have some of this sumo content in between Basho. So, first things first. We already covered our Yusho winner and the Jun Yusho winners in Daieisho and Kiribayama, and I was debating on whether or not to do Wakamotoharu or Keen Bozan, because Keen Bozan had a hot debut, and he's going to be high up on the Banzuke. A lot of people do need to know more about these younger guys, about these new guys as well. But I figured I would go with Wakamotoharu because in the past week, we got some horrible news that Wakataka Kage is going to be out for months. He's going to be gone for almost a full year after recovering from knee surgery. Really screwed up those ACLs. I think we mentioned it in last week's Daieisho video, but this time around, we got to cover Wakamotoharu. He is Wakataka Kage's brother, and hopefully, with that absence of power in the top, Wakamotoharu can absorb his own brother's essence and can make a push for Ozeki. Now, that isn't too far out of the realm of possibility here, with Wakamotoharu on an 11-4 at this previous tournament. He will be put to Sekiwake, but it is only his first of double-digit wins. Like right now, he's at 20 wins. So, fringe shot. He could make it with a 13-win tournament. I wouldn't exactly expect him to get 13 wins, but then again, every single time I've underestimated Wakamotoharu, he's outperformed. So I think for the sake of it, I'm going to say there's no way he gets 13 wins. There's no way he gets the Yusho. Absolutely not. It's crazy if Wakamotoharu gets the Yusho and becomes an Ozeki alongside Kiribayama and Daieisho all at the same time. So we go from 1 Ozeki to 4 Ozeki. That would be pretty crazy though. But he does have a fringe shot at Ozeki here. If not, if he gets another 10 wins, which is definitely within reason, then I feel like he could make it, going from Komusubi 2 to Komusubi 1 after a 9-6. One of those wins in the 9 was a Fusensho, but with these 11 wins coming up right here, he had a really good tournament. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He fought against let's see. Just going through the schedule here. He fought Kiribayama and lost. Then he fought, other Komusubi, Tobizaru, Daieisho. He beat Daieisho, one of Daieisho's only losses of the tournament. And he beat Hoshoryu. Unfortunately, by the time he would have started to he lost to Hoshoryu, he beat Kotonowaka. So, unfortunately for him, by the time he would have started to face off against, the higher ranks, that's when Takakeisho had already pulled out of the tournament, so we didn't get to see Wakamotoharu versus Takakeisho. We obviously didn't get to see him versus the Yokozuna, which we will next tournament, which should be exciting. And another thing to consider too, when looking at who he's fighting in these top ranks, he cannot fight his brother for obvious reasons. They're brothers. So Wakamotoharu, for as long as Wakataka Kage was in the Sanyaku ranks, would always have to get another fight lower down the Banzuke. Like in this tournament, he had to fight Endo and Hokuto Fuji. Hokuto Fuji was 7-6 at this point. We'll get to it. But once you kind of take a look at his opponents a little bit closer, you could argue, maybe he doesn't get 10 plus wins at the next tournament because he's going to have to fight Takakeisho, because he's going to have to fight the Yokozuna. And, well, You know, we'll see. That's really all I can say is we will see. Because, you know, for every loss he might get against Hoshoryu, you know, he can beat Abi, who's still going to be in these ranks. He can beat Daieisho, who just got the Junyusho. He can beat Tobizaru, who's still going to be in the neighborhood, that kind of thing. So I don't think we can really say Wakamotoharu's opponents this tournament were much weaker. But, it's hard to say. That's really what it boils down to. It's hard to say what can happen among, you know, Wakamotoharu's ranks. And instead of debating about what might happen in the next tournament, we can actually take a look at how he wins, what got him to this 11 wins in the first place, and we'll take it from there. So his first match is against Ryuden. Ryuden obviously didn't do well this tournament, 2-13, but coming into this tournament, you know, he was hot. He was coming off of a bunch of good, strong, solid Basho. So we thought, okay, this might be a pretty strong showing from him. We could only hope so, right? But into this match, really even at the Tachi-ai, Ryuden trying to lock in the left inside, but he can't because Wakamotoharu blocked it the entire way, and Wakamotoharu stayed chest to chest in order to go for the Yorikiri. Now, generally when we do these breakdowns, the LeoDSumo matches take a lot longer because it's a lot more little things going on. But in some of these matches too, it is just coming down to like one thing that just turns the entire tide. And right here, keep a close eye. And, you know, while we're here, blue for Wakamotoharu, pink or yellow for Ryuden, and all of Wakamotoharu's enemies. Watch the left arm here of Ryuden, because he's going to try to slip it into the belt, and it's going to get blocked out completely. And it happens right after the Tachi-ai here. Ryuden actually gets the jump at the Tachi-ai. He has a nice low charge, and Wakamotoharu can't even complete this first step, so he has to sit back and take a defensive stance, while his opponent, he goes from all the way back here. You can see where his foot was. Huge left foot. That's a lot of momentum going forward in Ryuden's favor. But Wakamotoharu has the strength to not only stop him, but once he gets into this stood up chest to chest position that Wakamotoharu is the one that pulled Ryuden up into, then watch what happens over here with this bicep, this elbow. He's going to turn it in and block Ryuden's left arm from ever reaching this belt. And from there, with his own inside left, Wakamotoharu, you can kind of see it with the way his body is reaching. With his own inside left and blocking Ryuden's inside left, he's going to use this to push forward for the win. And you can see he has grip on the back, and he's going to start pulling in this elbow in just a moment, even though Ryuden has the grip around his back. And then a part of that too, wrenching these shoulders down, wiggling the hips away so that he can make Ryuden lose this grip back here while maintaining pressure with his own inside left. So even though Ryuden won at the Tachi-ai, the match is being dictated by Wakamotoharu here. And as he continues to wiggle and shift to make Ryuden lose the grip, Ryuden has to kind of lean back on this more defensive stance, but that's not going to stop Wakamotoharu. He already has the advantage. He has inside left, and what happens from here is just simple overpowering strength, inside grip. Big win for Wakamotoharu in day one. Now, if you'll excuse me for just a moment, I'm getting some text messages. Alrighty. It was just the wife, Princess. She's at work right now. Day 2, Wakamotoharu versus Nishikigi. And again, you could say, you know, Nishikigi is not as strong of an opponent, but for all the Sanyaku guys, they're always going to be fighting down the Banzuke. You know this. You know for a fact. Nishikigi, at the time of this tournament, Maegashira 3, definitely deserves that rank. Didn't perform well. 6-9 of the tournament, started off 0-1, and even in the head-to-head, Wakamotoharu is 5-1. And looking at a lot of these head-to-heads, Wakamotoharu has a pretty good record against everyone below the Sanyaku, like outside of those Komusubi Sekiwake ranks. And if he can consistently beat those guys, then, you know, of course he deserves his spot in the Sanyaku. So how does he do it here against Nishikigi? Both men like the LeoDSumo, and it looks like Wakamotoharu does the same thing, except that wiggling, he has to do it a second time in order to get the grip on the outside right, and even though he's getting turned back and forth, he does maintain the grip on that outside right of the belt, pushes forward chest to chest, and Nishikigi put up a lot more resistance than Ryuden did, and it was, you know, well done, well thrown by Nishikigi here. But again, you got to watch it early on. It's going to be the same exact thing happening. Nishikigi is going to get this inside left right after the Tachi-ai, and when that happens, you're going to see Wakamotoharu. He not only wiggles the hips back, but he also dips the shoulder down so he can twist and make Nishikigi break the grip, while afterwards he's going to lock in the outside right on the belt as well. And locking in that outside right forces Nishikigi's left to kind of become a little bit shorter, and he can't keep a good grip on that inside left. So we'll see it right here, one dip, and then he does it again. And with that, this is how he uses his bicep. He clamps it down. He pushes forward. He's bringing these hips and bringing these legs forward so he can get this hand closer to the belt. He's eventually going to grab the belt. But then Nishikigi, after he loses that inside left grip, and now that he's lost a little bit of his momentum, he is going to counterattack here by pulling back. He actually initiates this pull, and he is going to initiate the throw by trying to throw Wakamotoharu over to the side that he just locked in the outside right. When he does this, we can see if Wakamotoharu were to have lost his grip around that inside left, then he goes flying. That would have been a good throw by Nishikigi, but Nishikigi, this arm up in the armpit, is not applying enough pressure for Wakamotoharu to have that grip broken, so he manages to keep that grip on the belt, which allows him to keep the stability he needs. Even though he's going up on one foot, he's able to pull himself back down so he can, you know, plant this foot, and when that happens, Nishikigi is going to rock him the opposite direction. So he goes one way, now he has to try to bring him the other way, try to rock his opponent off balance. A very smart move from Nishikigi. Right here, he goes for it as well. And this time, he has a much better chance at it because he's got the elbow this time up in the armpit, and that applies a lot more pressure. He could, if he were to dig in this shoulder and get it up underneath, then that throw would have been a lot stronger. But, and this is a strategy that was kind of taught in the Sumopedia videos, if you've ever seen it before. And the video where they talk about the belt specifically, they say that some sumo wrestlers keep their belt super tight so it's hard to grip the belt, and some of them keep that outer layer loose. That way when they do get gripped, that grip doesn't matter nearly as much as if, you know, if Wakamotoharu's hand is all the way down here, then he's not getting rocked. He's not getting thrown like this. But because Wakamotoharu's hand is now all the way up here, Nishikigi gets a lot more leverage in this throw attempt. It's kind of like a counter in the Yotsu matchup, where if this belt is a lot looser, then you still have the freedom to throw your opponent around like this. Unfortunately for Nishikigi, that's also what saves Wakamotoharu here, because of exactly what I was saying earlier, where he's going to use this grip to pull himself back down, and then this is where they're going to go across the ring. He keeps that grip on the belt, and because of that, he's able to hop over, maintain his footing, and able to regain stability. Whereas if he lost this grip, or if he never had it in the first place, then he would have still been up on one foot. This arm would have been dangling up high, and he would have been way more off balance. So now Nishikigi, after failing both throws, he's the one on the attack, the push forward, and now Wakamotoharu is going to attempt a throw going in the other direction. Oh, that's the wrong color. He's going to attempt a throw going this direction. So when this comes in, Wakamotoharu actually loses the grip on the belt because Nishikigi has a really good block here with this elbow around Wakamotoharu's elbow. Unfortunately for Nishikigi, he is falling a little more off balance than Wakamotoharu was, because this arm around Wakamotoharu's arm isn't nearly as stable as having a grip on the belt, obviously. So now, because of this instability, even though Wakamotoharu loses the grip initially, he is still able to keep the pressure up, and even though he doesn't have the grip on the belt anymore, he uses this to dig his shoulder deeper and get this arm all the way around the back. Whereas Nishikigi was holding the stance at first offensively and then defensively, this arm, he isn't able to get much more leverage now that it's being dug in so deep. Like, there's a massive difference when you're controlling someone's forearm than when you have the grip around their bicep. Because when you have their forearm, you know, that you can manipulate that any way you like, and it's very hard for your opponent to resist that, because you're working on not just the outer joint, the elbow, but they have to try to control it with their shoulder as well. But if you have the grip around the bicep, they can easily control their own bicep, because it's only their shoulder that they have to worry about being manipulated. So, long story short, this grip is not nearly as good for Nishikigi, and because of that, Wakamotoharu is able to continue pushing forward. He maintains the grip on the belt the entire way through, and he gets the strong Yoikiri victory. Pardon me, I just needed a quick drink. Now, we have Wakamotoharu versus Mitakeyumi. And even though Mitakeyumi performed awfully this tournament, you would have thought that, you know, maybe this is Wakamotoharu's time to go 3-0. And before this match, he was 3-0 in the head-to-head at the very least. Unfortunately for him, Mitakeyumi decides to show up on this out of the other 4 days, or the other 3 days that he actually gets wins, and stops our boy Wakamotoharu. We'll see how he does it, though. Keep in mind Wakamotoharu's strategy when he gives up the left inside. He's able to maintain the balance, overpower his opponent by wiggling his hips and shoulders, and then regains the momentum. What's the game plan against Mitakeyumi here? Mitakeyumi gets high up in that left side. He doesn't even need a grip on the belt, and it looks like Wakamotoharu was simply stunned off the Tachi-ai. It's not a bad Tachi-ai. You can see Wakamotoharu leans over to the left, while Mitakeyumi also leans towards the left. They're both attacking each other's left shoulders, but Mitakeyumi seems to get the better of it, whereas Wakamotoharu looks like he's trying to get a grip around this arm. We can't really see what's going on over here, but it looks like he's trying to go for the inside left on the belt, whereas Mitakeyumi, he goes high in the first place. He attacks the upper chest instead of trying to go for a grip on the belt, which we know Mitakeyumi can do LeoDSumo like that, but most of my memories of Mitakeyumi matches come from his like Mitakeyumi versus Takakesho, where he can do those high flying, you know, Oshizumo battles. So right here from the Tachi-ai, again, we can already kind of see it. This arm, oh, that's a lot bigger. What the heck happened there? This arm goes up high, attacking that right armpit of Wakamotoharu. So now Wakamotoharu can't really get control with that right arm, even though he has the inside left attacking the stomach. Looks like it might be attacking the belt, but he simply gets overpowered at this Tachi-ai. There isn't much more to it than he doesn't have a good grip, and this throw attempt he goes for, it's not bad. He has the leg in front of Mitakeyumi's. It's not a favorable grip at all around this right arm, and this defensive leg to, you know, pivot that entire throw on, if anything, it might be too far away. Now, if he was trying to go for something like an aqua kakenage, he would need this leg more underneath him so he can pivot his entire body and rotate on it, whereas here, when his leg is out this far, it looks like it's more of a stopgap. It looks like he's more trying to stop this charge while going for the throw as well, which almost works. Like, maybe if Wakamotoharu committed more hip to the hip toss, then maybe he twists Mitakeumi off to the side, because we could see Mitakeumi is very clearly off balance here. Like he's flying. That back foot's not on the ground. This foot is leaving the ground as well. He's going for that, the way Takanosho loses all the time, that diving forward, chest to chest, and then falling at the edge. That's exactly what's happening here, except it's already in favor of Mitakeumi. Wakamotoharu is leaning back. He's got one foot on the ground. It's just not good. And from here, there's nowhere to go but out. And good on him for trying to keep his feet on the Tawara for as long as he could, maybe hoping Mitakeumi takes that step outwards before he even falls out. But at this position, this is a dead body. And we're not going to have a debate in the comments about what dead body is.
I think Wakamotoharu will take the L there.
And from here, oh, there was no Mono-E. Very clearly Mitakeumi winning straight through on the charge. And, you know, if only we saw more of that Mitakeumi. Now, again, that's not to say that that was a poor match from Wakamotoharu. It was a simple miscalculation at the Tachi-ai, and from there, you know, everything went wrong. Whereas in those first two matches, his opponents weren't charging ahead as strong. They were just trying to gain position with a good Tachi-ai, whereas there, Mitakeumi was trying to plow his opponent out at the Tachi-ai. Let me get one more drink. I do have a slight headache. All right, Wakamotoharu versus Kiribayama. If you saw the Kiribayama breakdown, you already know how this one goes. But truthfully, I don't remember. So let's take a quick look at this match. Kiribayama stops up the aggressive charge from Wakamotoharu, and after that, Wakamotoharu stumbles forward out of the ring. So this match already starts off a lot differently than the ones we've seen so far from Wakamotoharu. He's had 3 defensive Tachi-ai so far, so how does he do on the offense here? Again, I think he's a little slow off of this Tachi-ai if we want to go back frame by frame. Thank you, YouTube, for allowing us to do that. But you can see just even in this frame right now, Kiribayama is already up off the ground, and Wakamotoharu is lagging a bit behind. Perhaps it should have been a Mata, because we have Kiribayama, or rather, yeah, if we go back just a little bit further, it's Wakamotoharu going to put his hands down. And Kiribayama jumps early. Like, look at him. He jumps. That left hand is not down from Wakamotoharu, but that doesn't really excuse what happens in the rest of the match, because they do indeed charge each other. And even though Kiribayama gets the jump at the Tachi-ai, they clash heads here, right in the middle of the ring. And after that, it looks like Wakamotoharu has the better advantage here. You can see that left leg is the one going forward, and he is able to extend the arms, but that also kind of begs the question, did Kiribayama plan to pull back from the beginning anyway? Because you can see Kiribayama has a big left hand up to the face, whereas Wakamotoharu, his left hand is down, caught in the armpit, being extended. This right hand can't really see what it's doing because, you know, this other arm of Kiribayama is in the way, but it's probably around the edge or around the shoulder. Those hands from Wakamotoharu are not really doing anything right now. And from this position, you can kind of see Kiribayama, he clamps that hand by his own bicep, and he's going to use this to pull back. He also has this left hand up on the shoulder, and he's going to use this to pull back as well. And then, of course, he's going to slip off to the side and get the win. But just watching this frame by frame now, you can kind of see all the little subtle movements going into it. You can even see, Wakamotoharu's left foot slipped back a little bit, didn't get that ground he needed when it touched the ground. And then, again, from here, Kiribayama takes control of this this left elbow, pulls, or maybe not pulls Wakamotoharu in, but Wakamotoharu is the one on the attack going forward, and Kiribayama, he's using his head to stop up this charge from Wakamotoharu. From here, it's just going to be
Nice head-to-head smash
pull
with
back
Tachi-ai
and let Wakamotoharu fall out. So full speed again. I do want to stop it right here. Wakamotoharu, again, those hands of his aren't really doing anything. I would say that this is his worst match we've seen so far, because this left hand, it was pulled away from the inside and now it's up to the chest. And this right hand isn't doing much. It's maybe attacking the shoulder and armpit of Kiribayama, but he really isn't doing much here. Sure, he is on the push forward and he's probably, you know, pushing forward with these hands, but that doesn't really give him the advantage because of what we were saying earlier with Kiribayama. He has the grip on the elbow. He has the hand to the face. He's going to use this to push up and then pull back. Not really sure what was happening here with Wakamotoharu. Just kind of let himself get grabbed off the Tachi-ai, and I feel like maybe if he was a bit more patient, if he was he couldn't really be patient because Kiribayama got the jump at the Tachi-ai, but I'm just thinking like maybe if he tried to, you know, instead of pushing forward like this immediately, they just like sit head to head and he can kind of assess the situation, then maybe he can fight for a grip on the belt, which, you know, LeoDSumo wrestlers really like grips on the belt. Maybe he thought Kiribayama is stronger on the belt, so I need to attack the chest, which he kind of is doing with both of those hands. But again, at this point, he's looking up at the ceiling. Kiribayama wrenches him down forward. Not really sure what Wakamotoharu's game plan here was, and well, no matter what it was, it clearly didn't work. So, his first bad loss, I would say. The loss against Mitakeyumi, that was just him straight up being overpowered. This loss here, kind of questioning what he was doing in the first place. Now, here against Tamawashi started off 1-4. At this point, the head-to-head was 2-1 in favor of Wakamotoharu. So you think, okay, you know, Wakamotoharu is on 2 losses in a row. Maybe Tamawashi can bring it back. Who knows? You know, these guys are both very solid sumo wrestlers.
Under his belt.
Tamawashi going high with good Oshizumo up high to the face, but then it's Wakamotoharu who gets the step back slap down, that solid hand on the back. And this is something like, why didn't he try to do this yesterday against Kiribayama? And, you know, if he does change up his game plan against Kiribayama, maybe he steals that win, but this is much better fought. And it could be because he knows he's going up against an Oshizumo wrestler, you know, the pusher thruster type of guy. So when he gets hit by all of these push and thrusts, Tamawashi, you can see he even starts off both hands up under the armpits to push Wakamotoharu up so he can start pummeling him from a distance. And when he starts pummeling him, Wakamotoharu tries to counter. And you can see this counter happens. Hand up on the elbow, just trying to get that attack away from his face. And he still takes a few shots. Like we saw, you know, we see this one coming through right here. This shot that he just took to the face, Tamawashi is pulling back now so he can get another shot up high. So like Wakamotoharu is fully on the defense here. And from here, it's hard to say where he finds the advantage because it looks like he's just losing the entire way through.
Get the better of Wakamotoharu, big hands to the face.
It looks like it's a Tamawashi miscalculation near the end of this attack here. Because if we look at it from Tamawashi's point of view, it's like he's winning, he's getting a good push, he's falling back on his feet a little bit, but now he can try to go for another attack from this angle. But this is where I think Wakamotoharu actually gets it in. We can slow it down here. This is where Wakamotoharu steps to the side and gets the slap down at the back.
Big hands to the...
So again, like if we want to watch this entire fight at half speed, Tamawashi, both hands up high, gets a good push forward. Wakamotoharu has a solid base underneath him. He's trying to push forward as well. And a very quick match.
Wakamotoharu steps Back slaps. Yeah. 3 and 2.
Listening to myself at half speed is kind of silly. But yeah, this was a good match from Wakamotoharu here. Had to go on the defense early, but again, just waits for his moment to strike. Gets the win against Tamawashi, who looks pretty weak here. And I meant like physically weak, because even though he's getting a lot of good shots, he wasn't really making headway against Wakamotoharu, and he even got himself pushed back a little bit, which led to his re-attack to fail. Because with that distance created, Wakamotoharu was able to step to the side, slap him down. And I feel like if this Tamawashi were to try to fight the Yokozuna, even if he does get the hand straight up to the throat, the Yokozuna would just plow him to the side. That was a physically weak-looking Tamawashi there, and Wakamotoharu able to take advantage. Next up, Wakamotoharu versus Tobizaru. Tobizaru started off hot this tournament at 3-3 at this point, and the head-to-head is actually 7-4 in favor of Tobizaru at this point in the tournament. Of course, Wakamotoharu is going to take the win, make it 7-5, but in this, head-to-head, Tobizaru, not as strong as some of his other competitors, but definitely, he has those 7 wins for a reason, and it could be because of the creativity, could be because of, a lot of different factors, but what does Wakamotoharu do here to contain the monkey? That was an odd Tachi-ai too, but now it's... I didn't even have words for it, but that was a very weird Tachi-ai. You can see right off the Tachi-ai, it looks like someone goes early again. It's weird. Well, no, it's not early, because Wakamotoharu gets the hand down at the same frame that Tobizaru jumps. So like literally a split second, Tobizaru jumps. His hands, they're not that fuzzy. And then how many fingers does he have? They look like Animal Crossing villager hands. So as soon as Wakamotoharu goes down to touch the ground, Tobizaru gets up and he just takes it. You can see he's bracing himself completely. Tobizaru stands up, good stance, but he turns his head to the side, and he looks like me when I saw, one of my 500-pound linebacker teammates running at me in football practice. I'm like, oh God, please don't hurt me too much. He has his arms out to catch Wakamotoharu here, and so Wakamotoharu kind of obliges. He's the one to push forward. He gets this arm to the outside, probably going to try to attack the outside belt and get the grip on it. He gets the bicep to Tobizaru's face, which I guess Tobizaru's stance here is he wants to try to stop a big charge from coming through, but Wakamotoharu isn't really one to have those massive, overwhelming strength charges, so not sure what Tobizaru was thinking here. But after taking this, Tobizaru tries to lock in the grip around the back, and well, it immediately gets caught by Wakamotoharu. I'm just going to call him Waka. Immediately gets caught by Waka. He has the grip, this elbow around Tobizaru's elbow. He's pulling up this fist. He's getting a grip around Tobizaru's arm, and Tobizaru doesn't look like he's in a good spot here. Tobizaru is the one to start the initiation, pulling backwards to try to go for a throw, because you can see he even swings his hips out this way. But this hand, there's no grip to throw with. Like, Tobizaru can't really do anything with that throw, and he realizes it too late, skids all the way back to the Tawada, and from here, like, really nice, solid hand from Waka. Tobizaru is using this right inside to attack and turn Waka, but, Waka has a pretty stable base. Even though this foot is up in the air, he can shift over to the side, because we see, this is something I talk about a lot in my LeoDSumo videos too. Waka is a little bit too straight, but his opponent right now is curved like the crescent moon. And when you're in this defensive position, if you get pulled forward, you fall and stumble forward. All you can really do is continue resisting forward And in this little counter attack he's trying to pull off here, that does relieve some of the pressure, but it's not really going to be enough. Even though Tobizaru does get off to the side, you can see Wakamotoharu is going to pull his foot back, regain that balance he needs, and continue the assault. Oh, he actually swung and a miss. Big right hand missed up high in the face. Thank you, Windows Security, for your virus threat protection. I really appreciate that. And from here, Waka just kind of lets him fall forward, because you can see just a few frames before, Tobizaru tries to get low, and you can, it's like the Enho strategy where he tries to get low, attack around the legs. But again, why are you doing this, Tobizaru? You don't need to attack like this. He gets too low, and well, he's just gonna get slapped down to the side. Also, mostly because his feet too far away. His head is definitely like right about here, so center of mass probably somewhere in this area if we want to try to triangulate this coordinates. But just kind of slips out from underneath him, and Tobizaru, really, what were you doing this match? Braces himself, tries to go for the throw, knows it's not going to work, tries to get to the side, and just slips in the middle of the ring. More of a, again, I've said this before, there are matches where your opponent loses more than you win, and this was definitely a Tobizaru, what the hell are you doing, compared to a Wakamotoharu, nice victory. You know, I'll give Waka 3 stars out of 5 for this match, but Tobizaru, 0 out of 10. What was that? And that may be my bias coming in too. My Tobizaru bias. But yeah, overall, just solid win for Waka. Again, he didn't really need to do anything too impressive here, because it was mostly Tobizaru really letting his unique style get the better of him. So
completely overpowers
trying to do too much.
Pushes him to the edge.
Waka gets the win. Solid victory, 4-2, where he goes up against the Jun Yusho guy, the man we watched last week, Daisho, and he actually pulls off the win here. At this point in the tournament, they were 2-2 in the head-to-head, 6-0 on the tournament, and I gotta say, I didn't expect the result of this match. Will Daisho stay undefeated? And this is the first match of the tournament, or rather the second match of the tournament, where he's going up against a pure Oshizumo kind of guy. But I've explained this a lot before too. Tamawashi's Oshizumo and, you know, Daisho and Abi Oshizumo are two different beasts. They're two different styles and two very strong ways to perform Oshizumo, but they are very different. And you can't really compare them outside of the fact that, oh yeah, they're attacking the face, pushes and thrusts. So how does Wakamotoharu deal with Daisho? Daisho gets the really strong push up high, but similar to how he won against Tamawashi, gives him the old razzle dazzle, the old sidestep. Will Daisho stay undefeated? It looks like Daisho goes early here too. I don't know if that's Wakamotoharu just letting things happen or the Gyoji missing these calls, but let's take it all the way back here. Why does it seem like Wakamotoharu's opponents always go early? We can't really see it from this angle. Perhaps Waka's left hand hits the ground right here, but like, he's still leaning forward. This right hand isn't on the ground. But Daisho's already jumping. Like right here, Wakamotoharu's fists touch the ground, and Daisho is already on the jump. He's leaping. He's like a mountain lion attacking. But Wakamotoharu takes the charge, and what is a much better charge for Daisho. Solid hands up to the face, but you can see the ever important right hand on this arm, and he's going to use that to push to the side and send Daisho flying, and really that's all he needed. Well, that and that little foot on the Tawada back there to keep the stability, but just that slap to the arm sends Daisho tumbling.
Big charge for Daisho and sides.
We can watch it at half speed too. Just watch that right hand of Waka.
Big charge for
right at the shoulder,
and
a good enough defense to let Daisho fall. And then we would see Daisho lose this way twice on day 15. Story of an Oshizumo wrestler's life.
Daisho falls forward as Wakamotoharu slips him to the side.
Now his next match.
Wide open again.
Here we go. Next match going up against Super Shodai, who actually decided to do some sumo and get 10 wins. Was at 2-1 in the head-to-head in Waka's favor at this point as well. So coming into this match, 5-2, 5-2, both men looking pretty strong, and we know Shodai is very physically strong. He's also big. He's tall, he's heavy, and I think he has like the top grip strength in sumo right now. We've all seen that silly video where they do the grip strength test. But, Shodai is very strong when he's on. And even though as an Ozeki he wasn't on, this tournament he was on. And so we already saw earlier, and I'll compare it to the Mitakeyumi loss because, Mitakeyumi simply plowed through him and won. Daisho plowed through him and almost won. Whereas, he was able to stop up the smaller guys, the weaker guys, Ryuden and Nishikigi. Shodai is bigger than Mitakeyumi, stronger than Mitakeyumi, and really we should have seen the result coming, but let's actually watch the match and see how it happens.
Wakamotoharu overcome this wall of Magasira one Shodai. Shodai far behind the line, Wakamotoharu roughly standard distance. Initial charge goes to Shodai wiggling.
Shodai gets the catch at the Tachi-ai and pushes forward.
Let's go, Shodai!
Kind of exactly how Mitakeyumi won, and I think that was an apt comparison. Except Shodai, he kind of waits here. He catches. Well, I guess I was wrong to say he kind of waits, but he didn't really go fast at the Tachi-ai. It didn't look like it, but Shodai, he just kind of gets the grip. It's not like a fat lightning fast hands up high to the face, and it's not like a lightning fast charge off the Tachi-ai like we've seen with so many other sumo wrestlers. Shodai, he kind of waited for Waka to come at him, and then Waka gets stood up. His right arm, he does get a grip on it, but at this moment it looks like it's dangling. And, this back is kind of arched in a weird way. You don't really want your back to arch like that because you'll give yourself a hernia. When you're lifting, you want to arch your back like this, like Shodai right here. He's also got that big left foot. He has big right foot driving back. He's going to drive that knee up and forward and get some momentum pushing. And this is also the struggle of fighting someone who's tall. Because when Shodai extends these legs upwards, his hips are like up here. Like this is where his mawashi is going to be compared to Wakamotoharu's mawashi, which is going to be all the way down here. So when fighting someone tall like this too, Shodai, much like Mitakeyumi did, gets the grip under the armpit. He's not even really going to care that Wakamoto gets the grip on the belt too. And I used the wrong colors again. But Shodai on this push forward, you could see his right arm is in an awkward spot. It's kind of caught inside, and he's going to pull it back so he can re-attack in a more proper way while trying to use this left hand around the back arm to keep the grip on the shoulder. And again, he's the one pushing forward. His foot is off the ground, but he's about to put it down, and then he's going to lift this leg and move forward as well. Whereas, Wakamotoharu, he's again on the back foot. He's literally on his back foot. He's going to retreat, being stood up completely, while now his opponent, going from a curved back, is pointing that back forward. Still curved, but going in the right direction. And Shodai pushes forward with his hips again, lifts up Wakamotoharu with this arm under the right armpit. Again, it doesn't really matter that Wakamotoharu locks in this grip on the belt, because Shodai is just lifting him up. And we can't really see what's going on this right side, but if Shodai has like the right outside on the belt too, that also really helps the push. I don't think he does, because he's gonna get thrown here, but Shodai hops forward on that one foot, goes from like right here to right here, and this is the second failed throw attempt from Wakamotoharu. Tries to go for the throw with that arm, but just doesn't have the space here, and Shodai able to keep his footing longer than Waka does, and Waka takes a nasty spill. Shodai pops right back up.
Don't think you're on the same level.
My buddy getting super excited about his favorite guy winning.
Shodai wiggling.
Yeah, Shodai just was in control the entire way. And even though Waka, had a throw attempt there, he loses the grip on the belt, and from there just falls backwards. Even if he keeps the grip on the belt here, I don't think he gets the throw. Like, honestly, I don't think he wins even if he keeps the grip on the belt, because he had all that momentum going backwards, going the wrong way. So, I mean, that was just another match where Wakamotoharu didn't look strong. And I think that might be his biggest weakness, is just that physical strength. Because, in his losses so far, against Mitakeumi, he just gets pushed back at the Tachi-ai. Against Shodai, he got pushed back at the Tachi-ai. Against Daisho, he won that match, but he got pushed back at the Tachi-ai. Against Tamawashi, he won that match, but he got pushed back at the Tachi-ai. Against Ryuden and Nishikigi, he's able to stop their Tachi-ai, but he got pushed back initially. So in, 6 of these 8 matches so far, he's losing at the Tachi-ai. And even in that loss against Kiribayama, he was on the push forward first. And then against Tobizaru, he was on the push forward there too. So, 50-50 on those pushing forwards. And then on these other 6 matches, it's 4-2. So I think if Wakamotoharu can build up that strength, I don't know if it would be upper body or lower body, or he might be, how old is he? I know he's older than Waka Takakage, but he's 29 years old, which if you want to get into the bodybuilding and lifting stuff, it's not like he's past his prime, so he can still build up some strength. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult. And who knows if he's already at his plateau or not. I wouldn't be able to tell you, because, I'm not a power lifter, but I do go to the gym pretty often. And as a lifter myself, you hit a plateau and it's very hard to break through that. So it seems like Waka, halfway through this tournament, Waka's biggest weakness is just that physical strength. Now, against Abi, is this going to go the same way as Daisho, where he just lets him slip off to the side? Because at this point, Abi was 4-0 in the head-to-head. And, of course, he was 5-3 on the tournament. Let's see what happens here. Abi actually loses at the Tachi-ai there, and Waka gets the grip on the belt. That left inside is able to push forward for the win, and, kind of foot in mouth. I was saying he needs more physical strength, and then right here, he wins at the Tachi-ai, and the way he wins is, even though Abi... hold on. Camera flash right on Abi's face here. But Abi does his usual thing. He gets the hands up to the shoulders, and you can see, to counter this, scoop up. Big scoop up coming in here Look at the scoop up net from Pokemon TCG. Gonna scoop those arms up. And even though this right one kind of misses, the left one, his left arm gets under the armpit and he uses this to dig in around the back. And when he digs in around the back, Abi loses everything. Abi cannot get up on these tippy toes to keep pushing forward. He cannot extend these arms without retreating first. And whenever Abi retreats, he is almost guaranteed to lose. But scooping up, getting that left arm, that's how he wins his Tachi-ai. And then from here, Abi does try to get the grip up high around it. And I don't know if he's trying to go for a leg throw right here, but with the way Waka is moving forward, this throw is not really going to work. It doesn't work. Waka catches himself and then goes chest to chest, locks in the inside left. Don't know if the outside right is locked in as well, but really, he simply won at the Tachi-ai here. To put it simply, that left arm getting underneath the armpit, immediately grabbing Abi, fantastic game plan, and then overpowers Abi to get the win. Very nice. That was his first win against Abi. Next up, he has Meisei. And again, going back to that thing I was saying about possibly arguing that his opponents are weak, Meisei is a former Sekiwake. I don't know what's wrong with him, considering he finished 5-10 from Maegashira 4, but, you know, Meisei is not a weak opponent. He was weak this tournament, sure, and he's weak in the head-to-head too, because after this match, Waka is 3-0 in the head-to-head.
A little bit further away from the line, staring each other down. Wakamotoharu will concede at the line. Scooping forward,
Meisei gets caught immediately, and now, you know, getting overpowered, switching the grip to the inside left. Meisei doing everything in his power to try to make Waka break that grip, but he just does dig it in, and now Meisei is trying to use that right quad of his to try to break the grip, try to attack those fingers on the belt, but it doesn't work. Waka stands him up, pushes forward, belly to belly, Yori Kiri. And it's almost as if everything I say is going to be proven wrong by Waka Takamoto. No, that's the wrong one. Wakamotoharu. I'm losing track of my Wakas. But you know, right after I say he needs to improve this physical strength, he not only wins the Tachi-ai here, but he pulls Meisei in so he can get a better grip on the belt. And even though this is a longer match, we really only have to look at the important beats.
Staring each other down. Wakamotoharu will concede at the
So
line.
beat 1, the Tachi-ai, in Wakamotoharu's favor, because he wraps in this arm around Meisei's elbow. Attacking this elbow means that it's going to be bent in a very uncomfortable way, and Meisei either needs to dive deeper for the belt or he needs to pull it back so he doesn't get his elbow broken. That left side, can't really see what's going on Waka's left side. But we could see he's the one pushing forward. Meisei is in the uncomfortable spot, and he's going to lock in the outside right on the belt. Well, not just yet, but he is going to try to attack the inside left on the belt. Right here is another strong position, or rather another one of those strong points I was saying earlier. Meisei trying to pull back on this arm, and his left arm is still caught up in there. I obviously can't see if it's on the belt or if he's trying to wrap it around the back, but right here, trying to pull away and might be trying to switch the grip to a double inside, because usually when you dip your hips like this or dip your shoulders like this, they try to switch the grip. But Wakamotoharu counters it by pulling back this left arm and kind of resetting. So he pulls back the left arm. He actually got a slap at the chest for good measure while he was doing it. And in this chest to chest, he's going to keep this elbow down and inside so he can basically force Meisei to the outside with it. So when Meisei tries to get this right hand inside, this forearm is already in the way, so Meisei has to go outside if they want to go for this chest to chest belt battle. See, right here, these elbows colliding, and that's because Wakamotoharu knows he has to block this inside, not give up the double inside. And you can see he wrenches it right in there. And from here, it's going to be a slower match, but those were the big points we needed to see to get to this point, because now we're going to see Waka trying to fight for this. And you're going to see Meisei do something pretty creative to try to break that grip. I mentioned it at the full speed, but right here, you're going to see Wakamotoharu is going to lock in the left on the belt, and Meisei is going to dip these hips and put pressure on these fingers with his own leg and put those fingers in a really uncomfortable spot, which is gonna try to wiggle those hips, applying pressure right there. Not working too well though. And then as soon as he moves those legs and gets those fingers out of that uncomfortable spot, this is where Waka takes the chance to attack. He's poised and ready for it. He's pulling at this belt, pulling Meisei up so he can bring that center of gravity up so he can attack low with these legs, driving forward. You can see he already did a few hops to get himself in position, but from here, driving those legs, overpowering Meisei, and 2 belt grips to 1 is how he's going to get the win. Very well done for the Waka brother. We're only halfway through the video, so I have to wonder which LeoDSumo match goes for 20 minutes. Up here, we have Waka versus Midori Fuji, and this is where Midori Fuji begins his collapse. He was 10-0, looking fantastic all tournament. And I was even saying, once he starts fighting the Sanyaku ranks, how is he going to do? Waka looking for his own Kachikoshi, so a lot on the line for both of these men.
The rest of the pack, what will Wakamotoharu do here?
Waka throws that right elbow up to the face and uses that to get the left inside on the belt. Midori Fuji trying to pull back, but Waka overpowers him. And that is the issue when you're a smaller sumo wrestler like Midori Fuji, like Tobizaru. You're not going to be overpowering a lot of your opponents. So right here at the Tachi-ai, Waka, boom, throws this elbow straight at the neck. Boom, boom, boom. Left going for the belt. And it doesn't really matter what Midori Fuji does here, because this left attacking that chest, you could see he's going to try to lock it in on the belt. The right containing Midori Fuji's left, and Midori Fuji's right trying to contain Waka's left, but Waka already has a really good grip down low. So all he has to do is pull up and stand Midori Fuji up belly to belly, and even though, you know, his belly button is by Midori Fuji's nipples, just trying to stand up the shorter guy, like I said, raise the center of gravity, get them with their legs straight so you can push them easier. That's what Waka is trying to go for here. I was going to say unfortunately, but Midori Fuji, what he does try to do to counter this is he has his preferred grip right now. He has the left arm around the back, and he's going to try to pull back for the Katasukashi, and by doing that, he's going to pull down on this right side and then try to attack the back of the head and neck of Wakamotoharu. But when he does this, he allows Wakamotoharu to attack the stomach with that left hand, and well, it just doesn't look like this pull down is really working on this left side. That, and he's got really good stance right now. So good defensive stance from Waka. He's attacking the chest at the same time he is being pulled. And I think what really does it too is the fact that this shoulder never really gets pulled down by Midori Fuji, and he just drives down low at the hips and waist of Midori Fuji, which is going to put a lot of pressure on him and drive right on through.
The attempt, it's not gonna work. Wakamotoharu upsets the leader and earns his Kachikoshi.
So right after saying he needs to increase his physical strength, he wins 3 in a row using his physical strength. Hold on one second. I got another text.
You can't try that.
Alrighty, Waka versus Endo. And again, you could argue Endo is not the strongest opponent he could have gone up against, but considering he can't fight the Yokozuna, he can't fight his brother, he can't fight the Ozeki, Endo with an 8-3 record, that's not bad. You know, he's doing pretty well for himself. And Endo, again, former Joy guy. I think he's a former Sanyaku guy. But, you know, it's not like he's a bad sumo wrestler.
Neither one wants to touch the dirt first.
Took a long time to get into this match.
There they go, inviting him now.
Maka getting low, but getting overpowered. And getting the throw at the edge really quickly right there. And again, losing at the Tachi-ai, but even though he's getting pushed back, like look at Endo, he's spearing forward right at that shoulder, and he tries to get the grip on this inside left right off the Tachi-ai. Unfortunately, Wakamotoharu gets the grip right under that tricep, that like where it meets the armpit, gets the grip under the armpit, and even though he's getting driven backwards, you could see he's even throwing this left shoulder in front so he can try to build the momentum later. Like this entire left arm and the way he's twisted his body like this, you don't usually see something like that. Like it's very unusual to see this position right here, but he's doing that to block Endo from getting both hands inside. You can see Endo has his right hand up in his own stomach. So Endo, even though he has the pressure going forward, he only really has this one grip around the back. Using that, Waka locks in the grip around this arm completely, using both of his arms, and using the leverage of the Tawara, he's going to twist and throw Endo at the very edge, who his feet a little too far back. He loses the pressure because he's easily going to get twisted, and I can't exactly draw someone getting twisted. I mean, I could, but that's a different kind of twisted. But he's going to get twisted to the side and fall. Really well done from Waka here. And even at full speed again. Just right off the Tachi-ai, it looks like Waka knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to go for this armbar attack.
There they go, inviting.
Because I'm trying to watch this left arm the entire way through. The right one goes outside, and the left one is already inside. Like, this left arm is already in, like, down here. So he's already trying to go for this right off the Tachi-ai. And whether that was, you know, a game plan or not, because I know Hakuho watched film of his opponents, and I know Shodai says he doesn't want to know who he's fighting until he steps into the ring, but or maybe misattributing those quotes to someone else. But if this was the game plan right from the Tachi-ai, it was perfectly executed. Well, not perfectly, because he nearly lost at the edge, but he got the grip immediately and then got the throw, you know? Very quick win right there.
Big charge from Endo, but it's too big, too hard. Wakamotoharu gets
There's a mono-e
up on the Tawara. That right foot up on the tippy toe. Keep watching that left foot. No.
And I was the stupid one, because I'm watching right here, right? I'm watching the foot and I'm watching the body fall. But top of the foot right there. He's already dead. So like, what am I looking for? Look, the entire leg is down. Like, hello, idiot. Look. But I kept it in because, you know, you got to keep in the mono-e's. Oops. Going up against Hokuto Fuji, who needs the win for Kachikoshi. What do you want, Bear? I'll take you after this video, okay? I'm almost done. I legit have 3 more matches, okay, Bear? You want to say hi to the people? If you're at this point in the video, say hi, Bear, in the comments. right, give me like 10 more minutes, dude. Next up, going up against a Hokuto Fuji who needs the Kachi for the Kachi Koshi. So, what does Wakamotoharu do here? Well, also considering Hokuto Fuji is one of those full-bodied chargers, you might expect him to lose like he did against Mitakayumi or Shodai, but let's see.
Sekiwake calls the Hakeoi. Hokuto Fuji, I thought, went a little early. Nearly got the push out there. Wakamotoharu survives it, gets the inside left, digging it in deep around the back. Hokuto Fuji getting twisted. Now locking in the outside right, and that's 10 wins for Wakamotoharu.
And again, the real big beats in this match, you could see the Tachi-ai. Again, Waka's slow at all of these Tachi. Like, why was this called a Hakeoi? What are you looking at, dude? Okay, you get both of the hands in the periffs, but like this hand is nowhere near the ground. This hand is nowhere near the ground. Why the hell are you calling this Hakeoi? Like, look at this man. He's looking like an umpire that just wants to call the last out of the game so he can go home. Like, bro.
Okay.
He only just calls the Hakeoi right now. They're already fighting, dude. All right, but a false start that should have been called away aside.
To join his brother at Sekiwake.
Right at the Tachi-ai, you can see Hokuto Fuji gets nice inside left and can't really see what the right is doing, but we can see Waka is trying to play contain on this left arm as per usual with his own right. And from there, the group is loosed, they're reset, and Hokuto Fuji tries to go for another recharge, gets both hands inside, while at the same time, Waka dives for this right outside. And, 9 times out of 10, this is just the better position to be in if you're Hokuto Fuji. You're both hands and the head up at the chest. And, well, all Waka has is nothing because he didn't get that belt grip. So from here, getting pushed all the way back to the edge, but what saves him is good defensive stance and a grip on the belt all the way around the back. Good defensive stance, both knees really bent, using the Tawada to its fullest capacity, and you never really see him bend like a crescent moon. That's one of the more important things here. You never really see Waka bend all the way back like he does, like most sumo wrestlers do when they're being attacked up high in the face. He's able to keep a very solid, he's able to keep a very solid posture here against this attack. Outside right on the arm, trying to pull it up into the armpit. Outside or inside left around the back of the belt. Hokuto Fuji trying to pull this arm up and trying to go chest to chest. But Hokuto Fuji just doesn't have the power because he's not using these hands to attack the face and really throw him off balance. He doesn't have a grip on the belt to lift him up and push him off balance. Hokuto Fuji, he had the strength, but he doesn't have the hand placement he needs in order to fully get this push out. And so what Hokuto Fuji does is he's the one to pull back to the side, and he looks like he's initiating a throw right here. You can see the grip around the back, might go for the pull and then use this arm to go up high for a push. But Waka keeps that grip on the inside left of the belt, and with this grip, he's able to pull himself in and go back to this chest to chest here. With this chest to chest, he's able to push all the way across the ring again, and whatever hand fighting they're doing here largely doesn't matter because Hokuto Fuji just simply can't get a grip on the belt. With the way the hands are, this left arm dug in so deep, Hokuto Fuji can't reach the belt. This right outside, I have to assume, from Wakamotoharu, he's pulling the arm up into his own armpit, so this hand can't reach the belt. So, just overwhelming advantage in terms of Yotsu battle here.
Hokuto Fuji getting twisted, now locking,
and he just goes chest to chest.
10 wins for Wakamotoharu.
Very well performed for Wakamotoharu. Amazing defense at the edge. And Hokuto Fuji, like I said, he didn't have the power to finish him with the straight chest to chest. And if his hands were in a better spot, then maybe. But, you know, if my mother had wheels, she would be a bicycle, you know? You can't really entertain those if statements too much. And that's not really something I like to do, especially when talking about the historical sumo stuff. Because it's like, oh, if Hakuho lost a match, like, you know, shut up. But, you know, in this instance, too, if Hokuto Fuji had a grip on the belt, you know, does Wakamotoharu lose at this point? You know, maybe. But who's to say? And then as far as the rest of the match goes, completely dominated by Wakamotoharu.
Digging it in deep around the back. Hokuto Fuji getting twisted. Now locking in the outside right, and that's 10 wins for Wakamotoharu. He stays in the Yusho race. He will move up to Sekiwake. And Hokuto Fuji has to wait another day to get that Kachikoshi. Oh, man,
so a really good win right there for Waka as we go into a premier matchup. Waka versus Whole Shoryu, and I call it premier because I really like seeing these guys with similar build do Yotsu battles against each other, and that's something I mentioned in the Kiribayama video as well. These guys of similar stature, you know, going head to head are some of the more entertaining ones because you never really know what kind of match you're gonna get. As far as this one goes, you kind of already know what may happen. The Wakamotoharu is or was 2-5 in the head-to-head at this point. And it is mostly Whole Shoryu dominated, but a lot of different Kimarite coming out. Uwate nage, Sukui nage, Kote nage, Soto gake. Another Uwate nage coming out here, but really it's the journey of how that happens. How do we get there? And how does the Waka brother get knocked out of this potential Yusho race?
He defers. Intense stare down before the start.
But first we have to watch a stare down. This part matters.
Wakamotoharu inviting him. Taking the charge, it looks like Whole Shoryu got the...
Thank you, camera angle, for being so terrible, but they do eventually slow down into this position where Whole Shoryu can get the big throw with the inside right. It was 2 belt grips to 1, and Wakamotoharu could not stop it up. And truthfully, most of what happens in this match happens off camera here. Like, what the hell? I'm not watching the WWE, guys. What is going on here? But at the very least, after the Tachi-ai, you could see Whole Shoryu locking in this inside left around the back. And he also has the outside right down low attacking the belt. Whereas we have Waka, he's trying to get the inside left and exchange the outside right. He's pulling this arm up into his own armpit. But can we zoom out and get a better look? No, because it looks like Wakamotoharu at the same time nearly went for the throw using this right hand grip, and holy cow, look at these muscles, dude. Oh my god. Whew. If you ever want to draw some dudes, just use sumo wrestlers. Look at that arm, bro. But anyway, now that we're finally zooming out and we can actually get a view of the action, we see up high, left outside. It's not really doing anything because at this point, he's not pulling the arm up anymore. Whole Shoryu has locked in the inside left on the belt. Outside right also locked in on the belt for Whole Shoryu. And Waka inside right or inside left on the belt. Outside right is dangling and he's trying to break the grip. But he's not given time to break the grip. And I lied. That arm is not locked in on the belt just yet, but it will be shortly. They're exchanging these single arm grips. Like I said, Waka is trying to pull this arm up into the armpit to make it useless and try to use this inside left to get his leverage. But what Whole Shoryu is going to do here is he's going to initiate the throw with the outside left, get this knee in front and trip Waka over it. And, you know, that's textbook uwate nage.
Still dangling.
Right there. Holshoryu is the one to initiate by pulling back, going for the throw, getting the leg in front. You know, you could put this next to Uwatenage in the dictionary, and it would be pretty clear what's going on here. Wakamotoharu, again, couldn't really get a good angle on that initial clash because of the stupid ass camera. But from what we were able to see, he was not in a good position. And then from here, Holshoryu acted quickly instead of just letting them fall into that chest-to-chest battle that, you know, so many other sumo wrestlers would fall into. Holshoryu is able to act quickly and go for this throw immediately instead of, like I said, letting it dwell.
No playoff for Wakamotoharu.
Because after this, horrible Tachi-ai camera angle, like right here, this is where a lot of guys would kind of fall into a slow chest to chest and try to figure out what they want to do. But Holshoryu knows better.
The inside left, outside right is still dangling.
They were in that grip for like 2.5 seconds max. And that might be one of Wakamotoharu's weaknesses, and that's probably why I underrate him so much, is because in a situation like this, he wasn't the first to act. And you see that in a lot of other sumo wrestlers in those middle Maegashira ranks. They're content to go for the slower matches. And I'm not saying, he's like the Nishikigi or Tsurugi Sho or Takeda Fuji. Well, Takeda Fuji's a little bit more agile nowadays, a little quicker on his feet. But in a situation where you might think we can take it slow because we're exchanging these grips, what are they going to do? What am I going to do? You need to have a game plan, and you need to be able to act quickly. If Wakamotoharu were to try to, do anything there, then Holshoryu can't go for the throw as quickly as he did. But because he gave Holshoryu a second to think, that 1 second was 1 second too many, and Holshoryu thinks, all right, outside right, throw. Judo.
Playoff for Wakamotoharu as
you can't give your opponent time to think. But if your instincts aren't as strong either, then, it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get. And in that match, this is entirely speculation, wild editorialization that you can put in a video and have people quote for you. But he might have been scared. Like, might have been scared to lose. Because he has 10 wins. If he wins that, he puts himself in the Yusho race. Maybe that kind of thing got to him. I'm not too sure. And we never will know unless someone, specifically asks him about, hey, what happened on day 14? But just from, looking at it, again, Tachi-ai notwithstanding, because it looks like
Wakamotoharu inviting him. Taking the charge,
Holshoryu gets the better of the Tachi-ai in the first place, and then when it slows down like this, Holshoryu goes for the throw immediately. It might have just been a lack of confidence here to go for anything himself, or maybe being on that back foot already after the Tachi-ai. But I don't know. I don't know what his mindset was. I'm just trying to rationalize it in my own mind. But to me, to not try to go for anything here, it lacks confidence. Like, Holshoryu was confident in going for this throw. Wakamotoharu was content to stand there for 2 seconds too long.
Wakamotoharu as Holshoryu gets up to 10 wins. Beautiful throw for Holshoryu.
I like how you could see too the delay in the chat. It took about 6 seconds for the chat to start reacting to the win. But yes, out of the Yusho race now, final day. Kota no Waka, I was really looking forward to a potential 10+ win tournament for him, but I'm gonna have to wait another tournament for that. But Kota no Waka also had a very favorable head-to-head, 6-1 in the head-to-head for Kota no Waka. Wakamotoharu. That's the wrong one again. No, I got it right this time. See, it was hard enough when it was just Wakataka Kage, and I had to say Wakataka Kage over and over again. But now that I know there are 3 of them, I get them mixed up. So, final match of the tournament. A very successful tournament. Whether or not he gets this next win, 10 wins from Komusubi means he's going to make it to Sekiwake. And especially with his brother falling, and with fellow Komusubi Daisho being in that Yusho race at 12 wins, those 2 Sekiwake slots were going to stay open for him. And, well, let's just see what happens in this final match. Kotonowaka, even at the Tachi-ai, Wakamotoharu gets the inside right. And this is exactly what I was saying. He's content to take it slow. He is now trying to fight it, wrestling it back. And even though Kotonowaka got the good push forward, it's Wakamotoharu who gets the win because Kotonowaka takes that extra step. So this is exactly what I was saying about the whole Shoryu match. Wakamotoharu is content to take it slow. He gets the grip on the inside. Well, actually, he's gripping some leg right there. I want some of that thigh too, boy. Don't you know it? But they exchange inside right, outside left grips. Both of their outside lefts are dangling. Both of the inside rights are on the belt. And Wakamotoharu is content to stay in this position for a little while. Like, it's one of those things where you don't want to make the first move, because if you do, you're more likely to have that move get taken advantage of. So, and we've seen it a lot of times where when the first person to try to attack messes up their attack, they lose, obviously. And you don't want that onus on you. You don't want to be like, oh man, if I didn't attack right there and I just waited a few more seconds, maybe he would have attacked. And, I was the same way in baseball. It's like, man, if I never swing, then I'll get on base more often, because then I'll get hit by pitches and get walked. But, you can't be afraid to take that attack. You can't be afraid to strike out sometimes. You gotta take the initiative to attack. And after a couple of seconds here, Wakamotoharu does start attacking. He tries to pull that left shoulder back. And when he tries to pull this left shoulder back, what that indicates is he wants to go for the switch of the grip. He wants to pull that shoulder back and dip that arm inside right. Kotonowaka snuffs it out immediately by pulling himself in and getting as tight of a chest to chest as he possibly can. And when he does this, he gets the good push forward, and Wakamotoharu still trying to, shake him off, wrestle him off. But Kotonowaka is in full control right now. And, again, if he doesn't step out, he wins, obviously. But in full control, at the very last second, though, Wakamotoharu, look at those feet. He did throw Kotonowaka a bit to the side. He is pulling with his inside left. He's twisting his body. And that is why this is called an uchari. And that is why he didn't get Yori Taoshi'd. Now, what is an uchari? It is a backwards pivot throw, and that's exactly what was happening. He's twisting, he's pulling with the left, throwing with the right, twisting his body, and he's falling backwards. Backwards pivot throw. So performing the uchari at the very edge, unique kimarite, and that is what's going to get him the win here. Unfortunately for Kotonowaka, again, despite his overwhelming strength and presence, he's just going to step out right real quick. He's going to catch himself. Of course, he could throw his foot back up and, risk hurting himself, but I don't think he was thinking about that in this moment. I think he was just pushing forward, got twisted to the side, because you can see he dove forward for that too. This is a nasty spill, and it was just that little toe touch that called him out. And if he doesn't toe touch, again, another if he doesn't toe touch there, you could argue that, dead body, Yori Taoshi, whatever. But in the end, that toe touched. That's what matters. Kotonowaka loses, and Wakamotoharu gets that 11th win. And uchari, good for him. Now, going back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, talking about his chances at Ozeki. Not only does he need 13 wins next tournament, which I don't think he can do because he has to fight against the Ozeki and the Yokozuna. And weirdly enough, the last time he fought the Yokozuna was that very odd match where the belt was coming undone. So the referee tried to stop the match, but they didn't get the signal. Oh, wait, no. Was that Wakataka Kage? I forget now. No, that was Wakataka Kage. Wasn't it? Someone correct me in the comments down below. Was that Wakamotoharu or was that Wakataka Kage? I know it was someone, and I can't even check now because the database decides to go down right now. I swear that thing goes down more often than a hooker in Amsterdam. But you know, I can't say I'm too confident in Wakamotoharu getting 10 plus wins. Can he get another winning record? Sure. If he keeps fighting down against some of these guys like he has been, like, you know, Komusubi 2 last tournament, he went 9-6. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong because the database is down. He probably lost to the Ozeki. The last time he fought the Yokozuna, if I'm remembering correctly, he lost to the Yokozuna. And, yeah, I mean, those two matches that he was missing, you know, you replace Endo and you replace maybe Hokuto Fuji. Those are 2 wins that could be turned into losses. And even in some of these opponents that he beat, like Kotonowaka, like Tobizaru, he has losing records against those guys. At the same token, though, he has a winning record against Mitakeyumi. Well, Mitakeyumi's not going to be anywhere near us on the Banzuke. He has a winning record against Meisei. Oh, Meisei went 5-10, so he's not going to be anywhere near us. And depending on who comes up, we might see, you know, Takayasu. Maybe we see Keen Bozan as future opponents for him as well. Also to fill in for no Wakataka Kage because he can't fight his brother. You know, it's hard to say. And of course, you know, you have to show up on the day in sumo. Literally anyone can go 15-0. Just look at Tokushoryu. But it's always going to be hard to say. And just looking at, you know, the stats and the history and just even my own analysis of his tournament, you know, I don't think he will get more than 11 wins. 10 wins if he's lucky. 9 or 8 is, I think it's 99% likely he gets a Kachikoshi. Whether or not it's double digits is going to be yet to be seen. So from here, I got to walk the dog. Thank you so much for watching this video of breaking down Wakamotoharu's 11 wins from Komusubi. He's moving up to Sekiwake. And, well, we have sumo in, 3 weeks now? I'm losing track of time, man. But we do have the top 10 matches of the top division coming out in just a couple of days on Wednesday. Look forward to it. Thank you so much for watching. And I think I will try to, again, if you got this far in the video, let me know. I think I will try to set up an additional YouTube channel and try to stream the tournaments live from that, even though I won't be, making any revenue off of that. I think it is very important to try to bring the sumo to you guys as best as I can. So when I make a YouTube channel specifically for streaming the tournaments, while I have these strikes on me, I will update you guys. I will let you know, and we will continue to try to bring the sumo everywhere we can. So thank you very much for watching. And I do have other things in the works too. I'm trying to get sponsorships from like NordVPN and, Manscaped and that kind of thing. Because, just to bring in a little bit more dollars. So if I do get any of those sponsorships, I would appreciate it if you guys could click on those links when I get them for the live streams. And yeah, now it's really going to be it for me. I'm going to go walk my dog, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys pretty soon, because even if I don't do the Keen Bozan breakdown, we're going to be going over the Banzuke and seeing how our young guns did, how high will those rookies fly, and who to look out for in that third division. We have a lot of good guys getting some Kachikoshi, Shishi's moving on up. We still have Kiryuko in the neighborhood, Mukai Nakano showing up. Like, it's stacked, baby. Look forward to that. And now I will finally catch you cats later. Oh, hey, we're at the hour 30 mark. Perfect.